Hello guys and welcome for my first technically video about where wins meet and a bit more details about the Guild Wars, which is 30v30 PvP, for which you probably know what is it about. And just a quick disclaimer that if you are watching this video and it's already past March, let's say in 2026, this could be a base or let's say a strategy that is not that efficient anymore. There could be way more other strategies by that time, but due to the fact that we had to explain that to our team and also to simplify the process and to start at some point with a good strategy, this was technically the first that we will use in the future. And yeah, maybe it will work for you as well. It would definitely help you to understand some key components from the wars in Where Winds Meet. But have in mind that this is being recorded on the 3rd of February, as you can see on the bottom right of your screen. All right, so without further ado, let's start with it. We know that we have two sides. We have the red side, we have the blue side, and each of those teams would have 30 players. The best way to approach the game is, of course, to focus on your objectives, and those objectives in this case are the jungle camps, the towers of your opponent. Eventually, you want to, of course, kill the goose, and which basically allow you to take the enemy tree and try to bring it back to your base. If you manage to do that completely, then basically you just win the game. But how to achieve that and how to gain advantage over the course of the 30 minutes time which is given for this war, well, this is exactly what we're gonna talk about. So our team, like I said, will be playing with this strategy. I will be explaining it. I would not go into site details, which would be including the type of weapons which will be used in the different groups, how the different groups will be structured. So if you feel like there is something missing, of course, you can always ask me in the comments, but have this in mind that you would not be able to see a whole roster with each and every slot fulfilled with the exact weapons and so on. It will be just base understanding. For the sake of good understanding as well, I will be using three colors: yellow, purple, or maybe going a bit to red, and blue, because we will be having three different, let's say, teams of 10 people, and they will be having different roles. The yellow team will be the one that will be defending our goose, as at the end we would want to have only 10 defenders. So those guys will be starting from our base, and their job would be at the start of the game to rush directly to the enemy tower. So we would have 10 people from the two groups directly sent into the enemy's middle tower. Then we will have the attackers group, which will be again two parties of 5 for a total of 10. And for them, we would have people starting from the middle tower, which would be 2. And then the rest, the other 8 people, would be starting from the base. Now, those 2 people would also join the defending team, plus the additional 2 players from the base. But the remaining 6, or let's say an equal split of 3 per group, would go and would try to clear the camp in our own jungle as quickly as possible so we can gain some fun coins. Now, you are probably wondering what is fun coins, but if you played the game, you would already know. Don't worry about it. I will go over the different buffs and debuffs which we can buy with those fun coins, so you would understand why we put so much emphasis into the objectives on the map. So as we can see, we have 2 groups, the blue groups, the attacking groups. They are going, like I said, 2 people from the middle tower, from the bulwark, 2 people from the base, 3 people are going to clear the first camp, and 3 people from the bottom would clear the other camp. This leaves us with the last 10 players, and they are also quite important. We can call them a flex group, we can call them a jungle group, you can call them a separate group, it's up to you. As long as you understand the difference between all of them, it's pretty much fine. So again, we would have 2 players that would be starting on the top tower bulwark, and they would go directly into our own jungle again to clear this quick camp. We would have the same thing at the very bottom of the map with another 2 players, which would be clearing this camp. And then, of course, we have a total of 6 players, or 3 of each group, which would again start from the base. And their job is a bit different than anyone else, because they would have to go all the way here and invade into enemy's jungle as soon as possible or as soon as the game starts. They don't have any other objective. Their objective is just to invade this camp and this camp of the enemy base. Now, as you can imagine, if we send 3 people here to finish this camp, this would leave those 2 players, and same goes here, it's basically a mirrored thing, to clear this camp really quickly. So those 2 eventually would want to join those 3 players here. Let me just put it like this. And those 3 players here, it would be a mirror thing. So again, we want to do that initially as well. Now, the idea for that is, of course, like I said, to gain as many as possible fun coins at the very start of the game. This is important because we have a lot of buffs and debuffs as well that are quite special for this game mode. And as we can see here, I have them all listed. But for example, we can look for, let's say, resilience advance. Let me just put them here on that side. So we have relentless advance, which makes whoever is carrying the tree of the enemy invulnerable for 5 seconds. Or we can have, for example, refight, which I don't know why it's opening on my other monitor, reduces the remaining cooldown of all martial arts by 50%. So if you want to use your martial arts to kill your enemies, it's definitely a really, really good thing. Then we have one of the core ones, which is hair pulling. This would increase your damage against the enemy's goose with 100% for 10 seconds, which is a really nice buff that can definitely boost your performance when it comes to killing the enemy's goose really quickly. Then you have one really extremely powerful thing as well, which is called Frontline Zeal. It's a buff that you can buy a couple of times, and then you can get increased damage against towers, against goose. You get increased movement speed, so quicker rotation around the map. And also, you get additional damage, which is 5%, and also whoever is moving the tree would get additional speed. And so on and so on. I can keep on showing you those buffs, but I think it would not be mandatory to see all of them right now. And to, of course, see that they are quite important and quite strong. So this is the point of the invasion in the enemy's jungle, and also sending that many people in our jungle so we can secure those so-called fun coins. Now the question from here on is, what do we do when it comes to going back when we initially kill this tower? Because basically when the jungle camps are gone and when the tower is, let's say, gone, there is the next step, there is the next objective, and we need to know what we are doing. So as you can imagine, those camps will be cleared quite quickly. Same goes for the ones in the enemy's jungle. Those guys that are clearing the first camp, of course, it's needless to say that once they are done, they also go to assist the middle tower. And as soon as they do that, here we would end up with 20 people. I'm really sorry for the many cowards. I will just remove that in a second. So if we have 20 people already here, let's see if that would work. That's perfect. We will just remove a little bit. So if we already have the 20 people here, just like that, and we have the red teams and the yellow team at this point, this is of course including attacking and defending team, we now have the clear setup for the next step. So the next step from here on is to decide, do we want to get more objectives or do we want to rush even more the enemies? Now, the one thing that we can do by rushing more the enemies is meaning that this tower is definitely gone. We are sending those 20 people into the enemy's base. And of course, actually not 20, but just 10, which is the attacking team. And the remaining 10 will go back, which is the defending team, to our goose to defend it. So if we send those 10 from the attacking team, which should be yellow actually, blue, sorry. I'm really sorry about that. Let's make it like this so it's really, differential. We send those 10, and now the jungle team of the 2-5 groups is also joining us because there is no more jungle camps. And now in this case, we have 10 plus 10, 20, and, we have this really good pressure on the enemy. Now, of course, the question is, do we want to do this? Because there is initially a different approach to all that, and Of course, it's not making that big of a difference, but you can eventually send those 5 players to just go up and damage the tower on the top side, while those 10 people here are trying to create some kind of pressure. Let's say a bit of pressure, not so much, because you would have definitely some defenders. You would have enemies attacking you as well, but you can use the buff which is called City Protection, which basically ignores every damage for the next, I believe, 10 or 20 seconds on your towers and your goose. But apart from that, you would definitely have some defenders. So if you send those 10 people, there is a good chance that they would die. But if you believe that they are good enough to survive for a short duration, you can definitely send 5 up here to damage the tower and 5 down here to damage the other tower. Now, why I'm saying damage and not destroying the tower? Well, simply because when you destroy a tower, it would give you fun coins over the course of 2 minutes. And those fun coins will be given every 30 seconds, which means that if you kill 2 towers, it would not stack and you would eventually lose the potential of gaining extra fun coins. However, if you damage the tower, let's say to 10 or 15%, and you leave it like this for a later stage of the game, you can simply send a couple of people or a small group just to kill it and to finish it so you can gain those extra fun coins at the later part and stage of the game. That's the second part or the second variation that you can go for. It's up to you, it's up to your team to decide how you want to tackle this. Okay, so now we have this in mind. We know that we have the fixed 10 people in our base, which are our defensive group. Let's assume that this one, our tower, the middle one, let's say that it's gone, and we have some enemies trying to kill our goose, to take our tree, and so on. We would not speak about this, or let's say not this part of the map, but let's say more like this part of the map here, because we would still need to know what is happening with our jungle at the later stage. So those 10 people, we know that they're in our base defending. Now we are left with 20 people, which are 10 people from the attacking team and 10 people from our jungle team. We know that this tower is down, this one is gone. We know that this one is left with around 10% HP. And we know for a fact that at 25 minutes mark in the game, there will be 2 key things happening. The first one will be the boss spawning in the middle. That's the first out of 2 bosses. The first one is at 25 minutes and the second one is on 15 minutes. We also know that each 5 minutes, every single jungle camp in the game would respawn. It doesn't matter when it's killed, it doesn't matter how it's killed. Every 5 minutes, the jungle camps in the whole map are respawning. With this in mind, and with the mind of setting ourselves to get as much as possible fun coins, we should aim directly for the first and main objective, and in that case, this would be the boss. Because the boss is giving a buff, which is quite important. It stays for, I believe, 5 minutes time, and it's really key because it gives you more damage, and also, on top of that, the kill of the boss gives fun coins, which means that if we kill the boss, we are technically securing fun coins, which is equal to securing camps. Now, keep in mind that the boss is basically working as a last hit secure. So this means that even if you do 99% of the damage to the boss and someone comes and last hits it, he would get the reward for his team, and basically he would just snipe it from you. So that's why it's really important to send all 10 players, which are considered the jungle group, back to the middle. And I'm saying the middle here because we don't know if the boss would spawn on the top side or the bottom side. As soon as this is, of course, visual, we can definitely react to it by going up and down. If we see that the enemy is reacting as well with us and going to the middle because it's visible on the minimap of the game, then we can also ask some of the players or even all of them from the attacking team to come back with us. Now you might be thinking, yes, but this way, are we not really losing a lot of pressure on the enemy goose? Yes, that's true, but you're losing pressure for not more than a minute. Even a minute would be too much. This boss is dying extremely quickly. It's not that is not that powerful to sustain more than 5 to 6 players for more than 10 seconds. He would die extremely quick, so the more people you have with good damage, the better your chances are to secure it. So that's why keep an eye on the minimap, look at your rotations both on your team and the enemy team, and decide for yourself if you want to go with just 10 players or maybe with the whole bunch of 20 attacking players. Now from here on, there is again a second step that we have to talk about. Because if we assume that we came with 10 or 20, it doesn't really make a big difference, but the main thing here is that we definitely will have the 10 players from the jungle team. And if the boss is dead, regardless of who takes it, either us or the enemy, we need to make sure that the jungle camps are also secured, because as we said, at 25 minutes they would be respawned. So from here on we have 10 players and we have a total of 8 camps. The best scenario would be for the enemy to not steal your camps. But because you cannot really know that, you can only know if you have vision on them to see them on the map. If you don't really know that, I would suggest that you split your 10 people into 4 different groups. One group would send 2 people here and 3 people here, or 2 people here and 3 people here. It's up to you to decide how you want to tackle this. Then you would have the other group of 5 remaining to do exactly the same. Either you would send 2 people and 3 people in your own jungle, or you would send that to the enemy jungle. In my opinion, it's better to go for your own jungle, because when this is cleared, regardless by you or your enemy, then eventually you can proceed to check the enemy jungle. Same goes for the bottom side. And then from here on, your initial idea and plan is to gather up again with the attacking team and just go and continue your attack. Now, in ideal world, you would definitely want to get some of the camps, maybe not all of them, but every camp taken, it counts for quite a lot, especially if you manage to kill the boss as well, because this would give you even bigger advantage over your opponent with the fun coins that you get. Another thing to mention is that now we are speaking about past minute 25, or let's say 5 minutes more, 5 minutes into the game. So this means that the bonus fun coins from the tower are also gone. The ones that I told you that you get for every 2 minutes, right? Like every 30 seconds for 2 minutes. So this means that if we did 90% damage to the top tower, the team that is checking the jungle should definitely just go, last hit this tower, and then join the party. If this thing happened on the bottom side, I mean, quite literally the same thing, just on the bottom, finish the tower, go back to the attacking team, keep on doing what you're doing, you're doing pretty well. All right, so that's, in my opinion, it looks pretty simple, right? I mean, it's nothing so complicated. From here on, what we have left. At minute 20, there is another objective on the map. This time it's not a boss, it's a 1v1. One person from the one team and one person from the other would have a duel in the middle of the map, which will be quite important because the winner takes a really nice buff. And of course, the buffs depend on the difference of how the game is currently situated. I mean, if you already have the tree, you can get a buff for the tree holder. If you get, let's say, the goose of the enemy still alive, you would get like a damage to the goose and so on. So the buffs depend, but it's really important to win this 1v1 if possible. Again, the minute is 20. So this means that the jungle camps will be respawning again. Every 5 minutes there is a jungle respawn. So with this in mind, and we know what is going to happen, we already prepare at around 20 and 30 seconds or 20 seconds, depending where you have to go. And we do the exact same split, if not even more, to the jungle camps in our and their jungle. Like there, I mean the enemies. So in this case, again, we have 5 people on the top side of the map and 5 people on the bottom side of the map. Again, you can send 1 person, you can send 3 people. It's up to you. But of course, the risk is if you send a single person and there is enemies, maybe they will steal it from him, maybe he will get killed. But if you send 3 and there is nobody, maybe you're wasting bodies. So I would leave this up to you. But have in mind that you would have 4 different camps to take on each side of the map, meaning top and bottom. This is really key because a lot of people at this point are already so much into the game that they forget what they have to do. This is really key. As soon as the 1v1 starts, you would have to watch it, and as soon as it completed, you would be literally in front of the camp. They would spawn in front of you, and you just kill them really quickly, and that's about it. It's nothing important. Not important, but it's nothing special. It's nothing different than all the things before that. But keep it in mind because a lot of people really forget about those things, and you can just capitalize on their mistakes. And now, keep on going further into the game. You have another question to ask yourself. Do we want to take the third tower? Taking the towers, guys, is not giving you that much power. But the more towers you take, the more damage you do to the goose. Unfortunately, at this point of the game, the enemy goose probably will be already dead. So we are speaking about the enemy tree now, not the goose. But if you just want to get those extra fun coins, and if you already managed to put this tower to 10% from before that, right, then it's definitely maybe worth it just to go for literally 30 seconds, destroy this one, take the extra coins. But again, the call is up to you. If you decide to go for it, it's whatever. Having it or not, it's not that big of a difference. But another difference is the 15-minute mark, because again, we have a boss. And this time the boss is even stronger than the first one. It gives coins, it gives buff. It's basically a really good one. I wouldn't say a game changer, but definitely a powerful thing to have. So again, the strategy, same like the first one. You just want to send your 10 people from the jungle or the flex group. You want to send also, you want to send the 10 people maybe from the attacking team just to secure the boss. And then basically we just mirror what I said at the 25-minute mark, because after the boss is done, those guys are going back to their job. And you have, of course, the guys that will have to go back to the jungle and do their own thing. Of course, if you just want to make sure that everything in this jungle is cleared for you and not for the enemy, you can just give the instructions to the blue team, which is the attacking team, instead of going directly to the enemy goose, just to pass by the jungle really quickly, see what's happening, maybe split 10 people on this side, 10 people on that side in that case, and try to steal as many things as possible. And from that point onward, going further to the minutes of 10 and 5 for the next 2 respawns of the jungle camps, there is 2 key questions that your shot caller should ask himself. And this is, do we need more fun coins? Which means, do we need to make more jungle camps, or maybe if there is a last standing tower, to go and destroy it for some coins? Do we need that? Or we have enough fun coins to work with it and to keep on pressuring the enemy, so we can potentially finish, the main purpose, the main job, to bring the tree either to our base or to bring it a further distance than the enemy. And now I would go over to the different buffs so I can show you, and I can also tell you how much of importance they have when it comes to cooldown, when it comes to stacking potential. Because, for example, the frontline Zeal that we are currently looking at, which is giving you movement speed, damage, speed in the form of carrying the tree and so on, is really good. And this one can stack 8 times. This one is costing you 1,800, which is a huge amount, but it can stack 8 times. Now, of course, you don't want to stack it 8 times because that's extremely, extremely expensive. But still, it can just give you the picture of how important those buffs can become. Then we look at the hair pulling, like I told you, one of the key ones as well, for damage on the enemy goose. And this one is having a cooldown of 95 seconds, which is not really mentioned here. And we see that we still have 87. I don't know what it's still in Chinese, but 95 seconds is the total cooldown. And then all our allies, basically all 30 people, for the next 10 seconds are doing 100% more damage, which is huge. The other way to get more damage to the enemy goose is to destroy towers. So this one is extremely, extremely good. And then we have, for example, the Desperate Surge, which is reducing the enemy's healing received by 60% for 15 seconds. So this is also extremely good, because if you want to kill enemies, if you want to, put some pressure on them, they would have healers, of course. And if they are having all of their healers alive and all of their healers casting abilities and so on, it would be definitely hard to kill. But if you have this applied, plus additional healing reduction effects, then it's just a walk in the park to kill enemies, and it's really, really easy. Plus, this one, for the reduced healing, not only that it costs 500, but the duration is 15 seconds. The duration is 15 seconds, but I'm not sure how much is the cooldown, because we don't have information on that, which kind of makes me think that there is no cooldown on it, or maybe you can use it a few consecutive times in a short term. And then you have another extremely important buff, which is city protection. Like I said at the very beginning, if you were thinking, wait, we were all going in attack, how come we're gonna defend? Well, this is exactly how you're gonna defend, because city protection is basically a buff that costs you 1000 fun coins, or in other words, 5 jungle mobs, which you would get almost in the first 20 seconds. And then your bulwarks, or towers in other words, plus the goose, will be protected from damage for 20 seconds. Now this is basically the time that you need in order to secure the jungle, and then of course leave and go back to your position, either to defend or to attack. And then we have a couple of other buffs, but I mean, we don't need to look at every single one of them. This is just a quick review of the things that we have to see and that we want to see, in order to understand why the jungle is so important and why there is so much effort for each and every team right now to go and secure as many as possible fun coins to their team. Again, this base, I'm calling it base because it's a really basic strategy. This basic strategy is made for our guild on the 3rd of February. I was just checking the date if I'm saying it correctly, but on the 3rd of February, we will be playing this. So if you are seeing this and it's already past March, please ask me in the comments if this is still, let's say, good enough, because I'm pretty sure that there would be more and more strategies evolving into the time, and maybe, some crazy shenanigans would happen. Again, I would not go into details when it comes to the different layout of each and every group, each and every weapon of the players and so on, because this is something specifically related to our guild. And of course, if you have your own guild with own players, they can play with whatever they want when it comes to weapons. So yeah, I hope that this helps you guys. If you have questions, please ask me. If you don't, make sure to subscribe and follow the channel. And yeah, eventually I will be able to put some more content, but for the moment, that's it. So bye bye, have fun, ciao ciao.